Hello and welcome to the Travel Tech EMEA 2022. This is the first session we have on this Monday afternoon, morning, depending on where you are, where we'll talk about the hotel global distribution today. And I have a great panel here. But first of all, let me thank you, all the sponsors for them make this possible. HS Latam, Tipalti, Book Online Now, PARATY Tech, and Review Pro. Thank you very much. And obviously also the media sponsor that helped us to get the word out and make this as public as possible. So I'm very happy to be joined here by Alberto from Wavyssa, Alfredo from Hotelverse, Cindy from PARATY Tech, Nicoló from Lybra, Theo from Book Online Now, and Jules from The Edge. I hope we could go round by round and you give us a little bit more background about yourself and your company. Please try to keep this to a couple minutes so that we can move on. Cindy, can I ask you first to just give us a little bit of background and introduce yourself?
Of course. Hi, and thanks for everyone inviting me to this event, which for me is great to learn about from my colleagues and in general from the tourism industry. I am Cindy Johansson. I am project manager of Price Seeker, which is a price and data intelligence tool. Price Seeker is part of the group PARATY Tech, which has grown in the last years quite a lot due to encouraging direct sales and of hotel establishments worldwide. Basically, what we do, our core business, let's say, is creating attractive websites. We do efficient booking engines and encourage customers to visit the hotel brand's websites by using different engagement tools. One of them is Price Seeker, which I am in charge of. It's a pricing tool that has been already 10 years in the market, and we monetize nowadays more than 200 websites and offer clients the possibility to do benchmarking in their main channels, including also package holidays. And we also take care of tracking pricing in all distribution channels to assure the correct retail pricing. A little bit general information.
No, that's great. That's great. That's very good. I think we'll certainly learn a bit more about this and how it can impact the global distribution for hotels. Theo, do you just want to continue? Give a little bit more background about yourself, introduce yourself, and Book Online Now as well.
Thank you, Claudio. So I'm also happy participating for the third time, the third edition, actually, as a sponsor and as a speaker in this great panel. My name is Theodoro Katsimbras. Theo, easier for everybody. So I'm the CEO of Book Online Now. Actually, we are a booking engine. I usually don't consider ourselves a booking engine, but an e-commerce platform. So we can help and boost hotel revenue and online sales, and especially the direct sales. Book Online Now is a booking engine. We have almost 3,000 hotels globally. We are located in 62 countries at this point. And as I told you, our aim is to help hoteliers increase their direct sales. And what I mean, and usually I'm ensuring hoteliers is that all travel companies, and especially Book Online Now, is here to support them find the best strategy for online sales. That's from me.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Jules, you just want to go on? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Certainly. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here with you. My name is Jules. I live in Barcelona from February. Before I was working in Singapore for the same company, The Edge, and before that in Paris for The Edge too. So that makes me 8 years at The Edge, covering EMEA for now, and then APAC, and now in Barcelona, covering and representing the acquisition of new customers for The Edge in Spain and Latin America. So The Edge basically helps the hotel maximize their revenue, okay? So whether that be by direct distribution or intermediated distribution with data analysis, digital marketing, and website design. Today we will be covering more about a specific topic that is repeating customers, how to generate money out of their repeating guests. And voila, I think for The Edge.
Thank you, Jules. I'm really looking forward to hear more about repetitive customers. I think that's certainly a topic that touches all of the other panelists as well, and it's certainly also important and very interesting for the audience. Now we go from Barcelona to Madrid, if I'm right. Alfredo from Hotelverse.
Right. I'm located in Madrid, although I'm from Sevilla. I hope you all know the city. And if you don't, you have to go. Yeah. Well, my name is Alfredo Moreno de la Santa. I am the sales director for Hotelverse. And what we do at Hotelverse is a revolutionary tool for hoteliers where we give the customers the right to choose their own room. What you see in my background is a digital twin of a hotel in Ibiza. And what we do is to provide that customer the booking experience that they expect and that they should have, as they do having in other sectors, like concerts or flights or anything like that. At the same time, what we do is we give the hoteliers an increase in their profits through direct sales.
That's very interesting. Thank you much, Alfredo. Happy to learn more about this. And I think we stay in Spain. Another foreigner living in Barcelona, Nicoló, and representing Lybra. Nicoló, you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. Can you hear me? Can you hear me well? Yeah. Thank you very much, Claudio, for the introduction. It's been great, to be here with everyone today at the travel tech space here in EMEA. I'm Nicoló Rolle. I'm from Lybra Tech. I've been working in the industry of hospitality, especially for technology, for about 20 years now. And Lybra Tech, what it does, it developed a revenue management system, actually a new generation revenue management system with advanced machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithm that allows hotels to increase their revenue. And our approach is a bit different from masses, since it's more a demand-centric approach. So we base our data more on looking data. And the idea is, to be able to help the hotels through automation, through all the data that we have to increase their revenue. We're also part of Getty Group, since 2020. So it's a big, large computer software house, which ultimately, help us also through the data that Getty provides, to give hotels, a better approach to the revenue management strategy.
Thank you very much, Nicoló. And last but not least, I think we stay in Spain, Alberto from Wavyssa.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Talk Tech, to invite me. Good morning from Seville, on that case. I'm business director of Wavyssa, as you said. Is a young company, but with a team with wide experience in vacational hotel industry, dedicated to help vacational hoteliers to have an RMS solution that considers their needs, most of them not covered at that time when the business or the company was created. How exactly we do that? Then we offer to the vacational hoteliers managed from the same platform online and offline channels, as well as what revenue per room, board, and also per person. And of course, we include automating actions, stock sales, open sales, restock allotment, all that kind of things that can be automated. So, and this way we try to help all the revenue managers to be more focused on the most important thing, which is the analyze data and set the properly strategy.
Thank you very much, Alberto. Very keen to know a bit more about that. Maybe allow me 2 or 3 words about myself. As you know, my name is Claudio. I'm originally from Switzerland, but I also live in Barcelona, like many others here as well, or at least in Spain. I think that's more of a coincidence. I didn't want to make the Spanish panel here. GeoPlanet runs a channel management and revenue management platform. So we're definitely playing here in the same game. We've been recently acquired by a company called Guesty, which is a short-term rental property management system. So we are working right now very much towards the convergence between those two, oftentimes very, very different, but in many, many cases also very, very similar cases of accommodation, let it be hotel or short-term rental, but that's a different kind of topic. Today, I mean, the topic of the panel, I introduced a short one, the hotel distribution or hotel global distribution. But we'll talk about digital sales, digital marketing, social media, and revenue management. And I think by the introduction of the panel, we have a really big source of knowledge on these topics, given what you're all doing and given where the companies are operating and that you're representing. So I'm really looking forward to this. Maybe let me jump in with this, just the first question to Cindy. How can we manage our PARATY in a painless way, and how can we do that? How can we use particularly PARATY tools to actually increase bookings in general, and maybe also on a direct channel?
Well, okay. Well, I have to say that before working in Price Seeker, I have been many years working in bed banks as well. So I quite am concerned about all the distribution model and all concerning about retail pricing and this. Once I got into the project and because I was working many years in bed banks, I still see after many years that hotels, of course, still struggle with all the retail pricing. And I mean, it's quite difficult when we don't have a reduced distribution model to have this under control. I mean, it's something that would have to change a little bit of everything. So basically, for example, what we have done to make this a little bit less painful is in PARATY and in Price Seeker, we have introduced a new service in our pricing tool that targets real-time client searches in our brand website. And what it does, it sends a real-time search to identify if we're being the most competitive or we're not in our direct website. When this process is completed, in Price Seeker, we can extend and solve this disparity by having in our booking engine as well another component, which is called PARATY Maker in this case. And what it does is equal in real time the rates, so we have the best rate on our direct website. I mean, with all these type of tools, it doesn't mean that we're going to probably solve all distribution and retail problems, but of course, it makes you focus on what really is impacting right now your direct sales and your direct channels, and it makes you avoid, of course, unnecessary abandonment. It's not that it's just going to solve everything, but it can make it, I mean, at least less painful, let's say, you know?
That's for sure. Thank you, Cindy, for that. Like, I would have one follow-on question, but maybe one of the other gentlemen in this case has something else that they want to add to Cindy's comment. If not, like my question would be, you mentioned a lot the retail price, like how, particularly given that many of the big OTAs, I mean, namely Booking.com with the Genius program, but I mean Expedia and other have similar programs. Like, what do you define as the retail price? Which one is it? Is it the one that, because we work with some clients where all of a sudden by Booking.com, 50, 60, sometimes even 70% of the bookings through Booking.com come with the Genius discount. So is it still fair to say that the non-Genius price is the retail price? Or if it is actually a majority, do we have to call the discounted price the retail price? How do you look at this when you're looking at rate parity?
You're asking me, or in particular to everyone?
I mean, you brought up the topic, so I'm asking you for sure as the expert, but I mean, everyone else can answer as well. No problem.
If anybody wants to answer, I mean, I would say that in general, I consider retail pricing what as the establishment has said is going to apply. I mean, if I decide that we're going to work with loyalty programs, this has to be, of course, included in those retail pricing. But I mean, we can't work with something that hasn't been introduced in the market and is being sold that way. I would not consider that a retail pricing, because of course, at the end, the hotel is who's deciding how and where and what we're going to sell a room with one price or another price. That's what I consider. But I don't know if my colleagues want to add anything.
Well, if I may add something. So I think it's a very, very interesting question, because yes, retail price is one thing, and then you see all kind of discounts everywhere, and trying to keep up with what it is. So I think it should be redefined. Actually, retail price should be at what price consumer buys, which is very difficult to manage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this is. I think this is exactly why distribution is still a very important topic to have.
Yeah, I think that's why.
Sorry.
So go ahead.
No, that's why our tools, precisely what it does is get into that detail, so you can, for example, price seeker or rate check in this case that I'm talking about when it's something introduced in the direct website, so we can do that real-time parity. All those tools, what it encourages is to get in those details of the pricing, so hotel can receive all the inputs to generate at the end those decisions, and take decisions on where and what and when they're going to put certain pricing in their different distribution channels.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yep, that makes sense. Theo, maybe a little bit of a similar question actually. What do you think direct bookers expect more when visiting the official brand website and hopefully the booking engine afterwards?
So, of course, we're centralizing a lot on the pricing structure of each hotel. If it's a discounted price, if there is a parity, if it's cheaper in the official website, if it's cheaper in booking.com. So all clients that are visiting right now, in order to book any room type, so they are familiar with online sales. So it's increasing. We all know that. So what we usually suggest our clients is actually to differentiate a little bit the product within the official website and the booking engine. It's not a matter of pricing all the time. It's also what you offer regards of the destination the hotel is actually located. So what we propose as a booking engine is to make the product of your direct official website and booking engine are always connected to each other. So actually I'm referring to the brand website a lot. So they should have informations, products, packages that are enriched with, let's say, services that are offered from the hotel, or maybe any experiences that they can suggest in the area the hotel is located. So what I feel that the client expects from the official website is to see something different. Of course, pricing and discounting is the main factor usually somebody selects to book directly. But still, the last 3 years, we've seen from the booking engine that clients are seeking something different from the official website, from booking.com, Expedia side. Not only bed and breakfast rates, but bed and breakfast rates that might have extras included in the price structure they want to book. So this is what we've seen as a thing the last 3 years.
Alfredo, do you want to answer to this?
Yes,
I think.
I
think you almost have to.
That is good then. I gave an answer that we can make a discussion and break the ice in the panel, I think.
No, but I think I agree 100% with you. I think so far, hoteliers, what they do in their website is a discount or offer an additional service that costs money. So you're bringing the price down, and sometimes direct bookings are becoming more expensive in some cases. So the differentiation is what it is to me. You have to have something, to take advantage of that billboard effect that, you cannot compete with OTAs in marketing to be there, but you can actually take advantage of that. And they say like 3 out of 4 customers will go to the website of the hotel to check the hotel. If there you have something that is different, and it's not only price. You can add a price or you can add a service, but that's why we came with this booking experience. And to add to this, I was in a conference where a person from Google was coming, and he gave some data that was wonderful. He gave what customers say that they base their booking on, and price was on the top. And then the other piece of data was what do customers actually do, and price was in the 7th place. And the first place was emotion. Emotion is what it grabs you. You have to. Why do you go to one destination and not the other? Why do you choose a hotel and not the other? It has to be like that. So I 100% agree. Yeah, we have to differentiate.
Can I, like, since maybe also the others, but I mean, at least Theo and Alfredo, you work in this space very, very clearly. Like, what is it that differentiates? Is it the hotel website? Is it what Theo mentioned, maybe the external content? Like, what can you do in the region? What can you do in the city? Or is it the design? Like, where would you, if you're a hotelier, where would you start? What would be the most important thing for you to focus?
Buying Hotelverse. No, just kidding.
It's not a commercial thing. So.
No, I know. Just kidding. But I have been in the industry for over 20. I don't even want to say how many years, but I started in 1988. And I started in 2001 with one of the first OTAs, and the booking process is the same way nowadays. Is room type. You have to buy a room type, and then you go to the hotel, and they give you a room. You don't never know if that room is good or is bad or is medium. Sometimes you could have chosen that room because it's in a quiet area, but if someone give it to you, you might not be 100% satisfied. This is an experience that whenever I talk to and has experienced that going to a hotel has it. It depends if you're going with your kids or if you're going with your wife, or it depends on what the purpose is. So to me and I have seen also wonderful pictures, wonderful 3D videos, Matterport technology that the hotels are spending their money, but they don't really show it at the booking process. So when someone is going to book, they should be able to see what are the services, where am I going to be, and I think that's what makes the booking process fun. I think that's where we have to start. Inspiration, and then when you go and buy, keep that moment, not just go book the room and thank God I'm done with this. So
that speaks again a lot to the emotional component that you mentioned before. That certainly is something that.
Well, I just wanted to add. I really think it's a bit of everything.
I think if I may.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Nicoló, you're a bit delayed. Let me finish Cindy, and Nicoló, you come right after, okay?
Perfect.
Sure. No, there's a bit of delay, so it's not. Maybe it's me. I don't know.
So Cindy, go on, and
okay,
we'll take Nicoló right after.
No, is that I think it's I think what we have really discovered in all this process is not a matter of just one thing. I mean, as Alfredo was saying, it's inspiring. It's having an efficient and a good engine, because, for example, I mean, you can have the best picture, but then when client goes and books, I mean, they don't have a good booking engine, for example, or at the end, of course, you can give them a lot of services, but maybe that client really wants pricing. So, I mean, in general, it's not about one thing. It's about making all that process. And that's why we're here. No, it's the difficult part of all of this, because if not, there wouldn't be so many companies working on the tourism industry. I mean, it's a matter of doing all the process and all the flow of the client correctly to get those clients to at the end book and have the best experience.
Yeah, it certainly has to be a combination of many things. Nicoló.
Yeah, I was just wanted to add that basically nowadays, what's what we're talking about basically it's personalization. So personalization is something like key nowadays, especially if you want to sell something on your website to differentiate from the other third parties, because you want to drive more direct business, right? So you need technology nowadays. I believe that we have the technology in different areas. For example, we can understand much better the customer that hotels has nowadays through system like CRMs, so we can understand also what they like, what they do not like, so that we can also create those kind of personalization to try to direct more business instead of let DATA get that piece of share, right? And and then obviously there are products like the one of Alfredo that mentioned that they obviously add more value to it. There are, after the pandemic, there are lots of new companies that arise, with insurance company included in a rate of a room, embedded, sort of, which differentiate from Booking.com or the rest. So there are different things that I think that we need to understand, and especially because the consumer behavior now is changing. The new generation, they're fast. They want everything personalized and fast. So if we don't keep up with the pace, and if technology is not there, it's going to be very difficult to be competitive. Mm-hmm. That's what I think, at least.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
And this is the magic. And this is the magic.
I would like to add something to that specifically. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's there are new consumers that they want everything fast, but there's a part of consumer that is still middle-aged or older people that has been re-educated through the pandemic, and now they're buying more online than they used to. And to those is also where we have to focus.
So the magic actually is the data. So this is the magic of our technology companies, that we receive data that clients do, let's say a usual client doesn't see. But on the other hand, data also shows us why clients do not book. Okay, so we need to concentrate why they don't book. Exactly. It's not usually it's very difficult for a hotelier to understand that it's very easy to find out why somebody is booking a hotel, or why somebody is booking a package or a plane ticket. The difficult task is to understand why he hasn't booked or why he left the booking process. And this is why we are all here as technology companies, by reading the data, to create features, to create, let's say, integrations between our systems in order to achieve the best available result for direct booking or OTA booking, whatever it is.
I definitely think you have a very important point there, Theo. In terms of like, why has somebody not booked? I also wanted to just ask Jules, because he has another important area that we haven't touched upon yet, that links this very much together. That is, so how can we make sure, or how can we generate new sales with repetitive guests? Because with repetitive guests, we know them, we have the data already. So Jules, how can we make sure that they book again and book direct again?
And book direct. Yes, thanks for asking. To the very last point, I'm pretty agree with Cindy also about the efficiency of the direct booking process. When we see Amazon, when we see Booking.com, it is so efficient that within 2 clicks you get whatever you want and direct. So it is important, I think, just to add this efficiency part. Now moving on to the repetitive customer, the principal fact why I wanted to touch that is we speak about bookings and new bookings, but the idea is that I wanted to differentiate the existing customer and the prospects. And actually, the first fact is that it is easier to sell to a customer than to a new prospect. And actually, the probability of selling to an existing customer is about 60 to 70. Okay, whereas the probability to selling to a new prospect goes very down to 10%. Okay, so knowing that it is very important. This first point, it is easier. Now it is also cheaper. Why it is cheaper? Because obviously, when we know this customer, we will be more able, and he will be more likely to book direct. Now, what we know is that guests that book direct, they tend to book a higher room, a premium room, or spend more a premium on-site. So it is also cheaper, but the future value of your repetitive guests may be higher than the previous time. Okay, so you really want to make them book direct. Okay, once we know that and we speak about our customers, actually our customers are the guests. Okay, and this is the guest database that we need to analyze. Theo, you were speaking about data. Yes, it is this data about the guest that we want to analyze. Okay, and when we get to this analysis, we know that we see that there are tons of profile for the very same guest. Me, myself, Jules, I have spent three times the stay in an hotel, and they may have 3 different reservations, and they have not been able to recompile. So here you, as an hotelier, can find very nice tools to help you aggregate and clean your database. This is very important. Yes, the Edge is providing one. You are very free to look for others on the market. Okay, so the point is, how do we make the many profile to one unique profile? Okay, and once we have recompiled this unique profile, we might be able to regroup these very unique profile into individual groups. Okay, so that share, for example, the same preferences, the same habits, the same amount of revenue they are spending in your hotel. Okay, and you create small communities of guests, so that when then you are able to generate marketing and proactive marketing to go and target them again, the guest is feeling the personalization. Of course, we are not fool. We know that when we receive an email, maybe thousands of people have received the same email. But if you target well your guest and you know them that, for example, me, I like windsurfing, golf, I am married, I live in Barcelona, I speak 3 languages, boom, boom, boom. These are KPIs that we want to know when we are retargeting the guests, so that when I receive a communication and they send me a golf offer at that time where they know that, yes, I usually travel a week in October to Canarias because whatever the time, the weather is nice and it is a good time for me. Next time I come back, this is this hotel, this golf package, this thing, okay? And actually, I feel I belong to this little community of travelers that used to come and have the same habit. This is, I believe, a good way to retarget your guests.
Thank you, Jules. That touched on many different things that we've just discussed before as well. Like, obviously, we need data, we need personalization, and I think, Nicoló, I just wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel that those consumer behaviors have changed, and particularly how did they have changed the way we do revenue management, and why is technology so important, more important in a competitive and fast-moving market?
Sure. I mean, I think that honestly, the consumer behaviors just keep changing, and new generation also is telling us that. And I believe that probably the pandemic that we went through kind of accelerate that change, because it also gives, accelerate the type of change in technology that it was needed. And the fact that I think that nowadays there are so many variables, especially if we're taking a look at the revenue management space, that matter or sales or a GM in an hotel needs to take into consideration, be able to mark the right strategy in order to ultimately get the optimum revenue per room. It's very complicated. It's very complicated. In the past, hoteliers were basically looking only at one parameter or two. They were looking at the occupancy maybe, and based on the occupancy, that was it. And now we saw that it's not only that. And in order to increase revenue, to consideration of what we've been discussing nowadays, the way how to increase more my direct business, how to take into account other parameters that consumer value at the time of booking. For example, not only my occupancy as an hotelier, but I also need to understand, for example, what's the coming demand base, for example, on searches that I'm receiving on my destination, or what is for example, the online reputation that I might get from my customer, because based on that I can value the price and the online reputation to try to mark the best price. And then also obviously that will come into if I know the data, then I can do fast action, because one of the problems is that that we saw that there are so much data, and then at the end sometimes the hoteliers get into on the analysis, they don't do action. If you don't do action at the end, you cannot drive more business. So technology obviously nowadays is want to be competitive, because it allows you to analyze all these data points that nowadays are fundamental, not only one, but many. And thought that helps you to orient yourself based on what the consumer wants. And then through action, if I know, for example, that I receive a certain amount of demand from, I'm just taking an example, from Barcelona to go to Rome, then I can also do action, for example, on my booking engine, and say, in my booking engine in The Edge or PARATY Tech, and say, okay, I want to maybe do a campaign geolocalized to Rome, which eventually means less marketing effort, because I just geolocalize it to one city especially, so less expense. But then I see that demand coming, so I want to demand of lookings into bookers, right? So, and then maybe with products like Metaverse, to be able to price a specific room based on rights. Basically there's an attribution of a specific, even same room. If it's has a best sea view, so why don't you price it better? So all these data are very important, and technology, integration with technology and through the understanding of consumer behavior helps to manage better these sources and eventually get more business in.
Yeah, I think
Claudio,
what you're. Go ahead.
If I may. So we need to take out of the picture, eliminate, in fact, two myths. One is that technology is expensive. It's no longer expensive as it was in the past. And the second myth, actually for the loyalty scheme that Jules was referring to, it's not only for big hotels. It's also for mid-sized, small hoteliers. So hoteliers need to understand that by using the technology, which is easy to be used right now, because we are trying also our technology companies to make all data simpler for them. So Nicoló was talking about the time somebody needs to consume in order to read those data. So we try to reduce this time, so to give a straightforward picture on the pricing, first of all, or for the data of the persons who are checking the website, the time they are spending. And on the other hand, we need to see also how we can, let's say, take use and advantage by the loyalty scheme Jules is referring to. So there are two myths that we need to take out of the picture.
Yeah, no, I definitely couldn't agree more.
It's actually
that speaks to everyone.
Yeah, it's actually, Theo, what you were saying is actually probably more costly not having technology, because at the eventually you would need to have more resources or more time put into it, that eventually use something that will allow you to optimize your time and resources, especially nowadays with all this inflation, possible recession. you know, that lack of personnel in the hotel. So if you don't use that technology, you know, then, you know, a person, you know, is not going to be able to allow you know, so many hours to cover so many aspects of the hotel. So I think it's a good point, you know, to say that to the audience as well.
Yeah, if I may add, is I think it's a great point to tell smaller hotels and independent hotels that technology is there also for them. It's not only the big hotel chains or anything like that, because, you know, and then the data nowadays, there are technology companies that can actually display very easy data so you can take an action. Before, in the old times, you could get all kind of data. What do you do with that? You know, lost in data, and it was expensive. Nowadays, I think is smaller hotels or independent hotels have access to it, and, you know, it's good, and they will improve their profits just by using that.
In our case, if I can add as well, we have been working on a new version, so also everyone can get some inputs, and I mean 5 or 10 minutes, not to go in all the process, just have a general picture if the hotel needs it. And I think it's important because I have still found a lot of hotels. I mean, I was in World Travel Market last week, and there's still thousands of hotels that do their process manually, which I was really surprised. And of course, when you tell them, and we have calculated, and it's not, I mean, it's not a lie. It's not something that we're just doing like I mean, we calculated that in 2 minutes, our pricing tool does the same job as one person 8 hours during 6 days. I mean, in cost, that is something that nowadays a hotel can't have somebody manually doing these type of searches. I mean, it's 6 days of a person in your hotel. It's crazy. So I also encourage all hotels to use technology, because it's really a process that maybe you're going to take half an hour in learning now, but it will make everything much easier. So.
If I may, if you don't mind, Bliss, just want to add that as technological companies, as we are here, we find a lot of small hoteliers and middle hoteliers that see the technology as expenditure, as you said before, but also on the other hand, we can find from on this set of hoteliers or target of hoteliers, small and middle, that they have this technology already bought, so they pay for it. They pay a lot for the technology, but we find as well that they don't use it properly. So we can see how hoteliers, small, middle, doesn't matter, they pay for technological things that they cannot use it 100% because they don't know how to use it. And even they pay for things that they don't really need. So we see is, as we compare a smartphone with a phone, why you buy a smartphone when you need only a standard phone to call? So why are you paying that much for the technology that you are not using? Maybe you have to find something else in the market that cover your needs and is not requesting that much money. So maybe this way we can see how this middle and small hotelier change this kind of thing and don't see the technology as a expenditure, is more as an investment. Maybe the thing or the problem begins here, that they speak between them how much they pay for the technology, and they are not happy with the end because they don't know how to use it properly well and get the most profit as they should.
I think at the end of the day, it's always about the value you're getting out of a process. If that process is supported by humans, manual, or by a tool, it's the end result that counts and the value you're getting out of this. And I think that's certainly for all technology providers here. It's the key. It's one of the key aspects. It's not only to sell the tools, but to make sure that they're properly implemented, used to the full extent, and that people are happy with it. And I think that's like one like I think it was here before, there was the aspect of like, yeah, technology is or the tools that we're offering today are certainly simpler to use. They make a lot of data more accessible, but also it needs to be properly implemented, integrated, and built into a fully functioning end-to-end process. Because otherwise, yeah, with data silos, we can't do too many different things. I wanted to just go back to a bit more basic question as well before there are actually some very good questions from the audience as well, but I'll bring them up in a second. But between occupancy and ADR, and Nicoló pointed on this before as well, like Alberto, what do you think is the key to actually increase the final revenue? Which, to rephrase this a bit, is also how they can see the actual value of an RMS you're implementing. Sorry, in this category, this is key, right?
Absolutely, here the data and the strategy plays a factor or a role really important. So how the hotelier or where the hotel has to focus on occupancy, on ADR, which will get better or final aid revenue. So everything starts at the beginning or during the booking process. This booking process starts on the website. If the website is not useful, it's not easy to use, and the booking engine, so it's really difficult to turn this idea to book your hotel in. So the conversation of this booking will be only in your booking position. So everything starts here on how useful is all your technological tools that you use. So what depends? So it depends. First, we have to analyze several factors. If the market situation, the economy, everything affects to the final revenue and how to get it. For example, if we take as example the last summer, this 2022, if we focus on demand data, I'm sure my panel colleagues will agree with me. We have seen the total recovery of the tourism industry in Spain after COVID, and high demanded hotels and flights and new routes have created between, for example, I'm from Mallorca, but I studied in Seville. We had in Mallorca a direct flight with United States, with New York. Also, so for that part, the occupancy was granted and easy to achieve any high occupancy that the hotelier wanted to focus on. So that case is pushing us to focus on the opportunity to increase the ADR. The technology help us to increase at least a 35% the ADRs, and we can see in our records and data that show us the opportunity to follow a strategy more focus on that ADR and get this 35% increase, selling rooms per inventory capacity instead to overbook any cheaper room, and reallocating the guests on higher categories at the same cost of a standard room and losing business opportunities. So also here starts or play a really important role how we set the prices, the inventory of rooms, and the segmentation that the hoteliers will set at the time to set these retail prices you were speaking before. Also, the inflation, we have seen how the rates and prices have increased during this year, increasing operational costs significantly, and push all the strategy to a less occupancy to not commit on higher costs. And however, on the other hand, has affected domestic economies. So has to control the rates increase as well to be more competitive, because the final guest can decide instead to go on holidays and spend that money in things that they really need or not that expensive. So we have to roll different rounds and keys to turn different keys to set this break-even point. So important. It depends of the situation, of the global situation, not only for the tourism industry, if not also in common. As a result, for hotel industry, with a good strategy, higher incomes, cost reductions, and better service due to control occupancy, which will help these loyalty programs to do repetitive guests and send them to the directly website to increase the final revenue. But as I said, it's all about the strategy. So what happens when revenue managers are investing most of their time in manually tasks and they don't use properly, or they don't have this technology, that they are not adding value to the company, and they are investing all the time in tasks that they can be automated, and such as looking after disparities, restock allotment, and everything. So they can no longer invest their time in analyze and be focused on set the correct strategy. So tasks that, as we saw before, are the pillar of the increases incomes.
That was a very that was a very good roundup of many of the things that we've touched on before. If I can, before Alfredo, there was Monish from the audience actually asking something that is quite interesting to see as well. The basic question is, what is the direct booking ratio in 2022 that we can achieve compared to the OTAs? Or a bit more specific, what is it for a resort type of hotel? Maybe, Theo, you for sure have, hopefully data, at least an opinion on it.
So actually, what I can say, yes, we do have more direct bookers. So in comparison, let's say, of the two big elephants, Expedia and Booking.com, I see Booking.com first, and the booking engine, direct sales, is second in most of the resorts or hotels that are on board with Book Online now, in fact. So what I see is an increase of the direct sales in this point. And because I saw another question again from Mr. Monish, is that which is actually the percentage of the direct bookings, and which is the base for resorts. I feel that a 25-30% of direct bookings is a very good start for a hotelier to work around in the online sales. Of course, we need to build on this 30%, and there are ways that time by time. It's not an easy job. Nobody says that it's an easy job to drive clients direct bookings, but because hoteliers have the knowledge of the area and their own hotel, the concept they have built the hotel in. As I told you in the first question I answered, there are ways to differentiate and make this product more appealing to them. So there are ways to increase this percentage. I don't know if somebody, let's say Jules from DH or anybody else, sees a different approach in terms of the percentage of the reservations that come direct.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to ask. Thank you.
Well,
yes,
I think, sorry.
Well, at the edge, we used to have a hotel recovery tracker during the COVID, and we saw that with COVID, actually, the amount of direct booking have increased a lot than before COVID, because actually it comes to the confidence the guest will have in booking the hotel. And actually, when they are going to the hotel, they were more and more inclined of likely to call the hotel or even direct book. So we saw an uptick on this amount of bookings. In terms of numbers, we are about 30% of direct bookings. That is being a conservative one, since you can be far above with the proper digital marketing, with the proper corporate sales actions, and so on and so forth. So it is an average. Now we can be above or below, depending on what's the holistic strategy of your distribution is.
Cindy, you wanted to add something to that?
Yes, well, in our case, of course, we're a company that precisely encourages direct sales. Of course, we have seen our sales boost in a way which was mainly based because on one side we were talking about confidence of the client talking directly to the hotel, and during the pandemic, of course, it was very important because they didn't feel that they could cancel in any time, or it was much easier to get with the hotel because it was direct communication, so they trusted that. But I think on the other hand, it's a matter of confidence of the hotel, because probably maybe a lot of hotels didn't know exactly what strategy to follow in a big world. I mean, where do I focus? To clients from India, or what do I do? Google Ads here or there? I mean, it's quite difficult to focus where you can encourage all that money, and maybe sometimes thinking that it would cost more than attracting a client from Booking.com or from another OTA. And I think in that sense, it has been a matter of both ways, getting that confidence that this project can be done and you can attract clients directly without getting in a very big extra cost. And that's concerning direct sales. And I think what they were asking about, what is the correct percentage of direct sales? I don't think it's a matter of being a business hotel or a vacation resort. It's a matter of seeing really how to deal with all those distribution channels and what is the best for the hotel, and how they can deal in each channel and how they can encourage those direct sales. I mean, I wouldn't do a segmentation on business and resort. Of course, generally in cities, they have a lower distribution channel in general because it's another way of working. But I mean, I wouldn't say, okay, this is the perfect 30% and here is 10. It's not. I don't think it works that way. My opinion.
I think the percentage always differs on the property type, the location. I wanted to, however, take this opportunity and ask Alfredo very, very concretely. In order to get direct bookings, you need two things. You need traffic on your website,
right? And
the second thing, and that's where I wanted to go, is you need to convert them. What do you suggest, particularly to the that's not actually a name, to the comment from FB Revenue and Distribution, she or he commented that in an independent hotel, 25-30% would be golden. How would you help them to increase conversion once you have the traffic on the direct channel?
Yeah, I wanted to briefly comment on the question before, is that it depends. Are we talking about online direct business? Because direct booking, when you go to a hotel, in general, I was doing getting ready for my presentation, and almost 80% of the online bookings are done by the OTAs nowadays worldwide. That's a huge, almost 80%. It depends on where you are, what your brand is. It depends on and when you bring data down, then you see that you go to companies that they claim that they have 50% of direct business. And then when you go into that direct business, how much is your online direct business? And sometimes it's only 25% of that, which brings it to a 5% actually. So yes, I see that there's not a right question and a straight question, and 30% for an independent hotel will be quite a very good start. Very good. And to your question about the conversion, that's where we focus on. What we want is the first word that Theo said at the beginning is to differentiate. That's what we want to do. And focusing on the customer booking experience, if you can give them something that no one has it, you might bring a good number of customers to your site and convert them. Plus, another thing is not to focus only on the customer, which is the center of attention, but also to focus on the hoteliers. If you, and Nicoló said before, is, let's say you have a certain type, we are restricted by type of room. And some hotels have double rooms that are better than the others. So why don't you do some revenue management on them and sell them a little bit higher and help them increase also the profit? So a combination of higher conversion and higher profit, also selling other services that are not sold before the customer arrives. And you could book a table at the restaurant, or you could book anything, before. So giving and these booking engines and website masters, with the help of tech companies like us, could just give the right experience to the customer so they can convert.
I think if I can add to this, like, it goes back to Nicoló's personalization topic. Thanks for bringing that in. We're referring back to it all the time. Here's also something that we can actually learn from the short-term rental industry quite a bit, because for the short-term rental industry, every apartment, not every, but mostly their apartments are unique, and they're selling them unique, and they're advertising them unique. And I think in the hotel world, we often, and I count myself in there, our company there, like we think in portfolios, we think in double rooms, single rooms. It sometimes is quite helpful to think of, hey, I have that room to sell, or that apartment to sell, and that one has a unique kind of property. But that's
but once again, you cannot sell too many types, because then they get lost. So it's like a combination. So by attribute would be a good solution.
Yeah, it really depends where you sell and what you do. That's for sure. There was one question coming from the audience, which I always value a lot, because people are fully with us and are there, and I think that's actually a very interesting one. From his perspective, we as in the users, I think he's referring to revenue managers in particular, often hear that owners don't approve, or the GM doesn't approve the cost for tools like a CMS or an RMS or a booking engine or a new website. What do you want to tell them? Okay, the wake up maybe not, but like I think this is really something that we all can learn from something. So the question to you, how do you help users, revenue managers in that situation to overcome budget restrictions in the wider sense?
If you don't mind, I start.
Well, if I may say.
And who wanted to start? Nicoló?
Nicoló
sorry, one of you had a bit of a delay. I don't know. So Nicoló, go ahead.
Should I go? Okay. Okay. Sorry, there's a bit of delay. I guess it's from my hand. I apologize for that. What I was gonna say to it's actually a very interesting question, and it's a common question that at least I get, if not on a daily basis, quite often, and I think it doesn't regard only on the RMS system, but any technology that involves some sort of investment, like a quiet investment, and people, someone mentioned before, say it more as a cost rather than an investment. But then one of the questions that I would ask the hotelier, that needs to take a certain decision like that, be, so how many hours would your revenue manager or spend analyzing, for example, all these data and come to a decision? And in the meantime, after he analyzed all this data, 10 reservation, 12 reservation came in at the price that it could have with technology optimized, or more revenue, but it didn't. Now it's already booked, so I cannot do anything about it, right? So then it's a matter of also understanding that thing, you might in the short term think that you're actually saving some money, but in the long term, and especially as we said before, the consumer change, the booking window is shorter. So nowadays, if we're looking at, we were talking before, like some vacational areas, right? For example, Mallorca. We knew before, that the German people were booking to go on holidays in July, in January. But they don't know. So now probably they're going to book maybe 2 or 3 weeks before. So the reaction to a GM, to a revenue manager, or director of sales to take action is that it needs to be fast. If not, they lose opportunity of increasing the revenue. So in other words, if they think they're saving money, probably they're gonna make a mistake, because technology will allow to generate more money on the long term. That's probably a fact. We see ROIs on any kind of technology that helps to automate or helps you to take decision, because ultimately it's that take decision that allows you to drive business.
That's certainly a good set of advice here. It was Alberto before, right? That wanted to start. Yeah. So go ahead, Alberto. How would you sell? Well, not your tool, but in general technology.
As technologicals, we have something that is really, really useful and important is data. So we don't show the results of our clients, but of course we see how the evolution of our clients are done until the time we have said with them or we have implemented them in our systems. So we have this data. How useful are our systems? Also, we can bring all this data all together with not only the data that we have, also the data we offer to them, to our clients as market data, all the information that they can pack everything in one only software. And so the main thing that we can sell is your revenues, your staff is losing time going to one software to another, 3 windows, 4 windows opened, more or less in the same line as Nicoló said. You have 3 windows open, you have to analyze in different ways, and you can have everything in only one window. You can set everything in one window. So why you have to lose not only time, also business opportunities, changing the way you are looking the information and where you are applying this strategy. If you can do it everything in one only software, so you do everything, you analyze, you automate. If not, you can do everything in one only window. You are not losing time, you are earning money, because at the time that you are looking at different ways and you are going to the system to implement, as Nicoló said, you have already 10, 20, maybe a group of 30 rooms booked, and you lost that opportunity to increase the rate for that group is already booked in. So that's the thing, is not money, is an investment. Is an investment to not waste that time and not losing that business opportunities.
If I may add something, I think all of our companies will have an added value that we know of it and we can sell just because of that. It's our companies that are adding value to the hotels. But how many times do we see one person that is your champion at the hotel or the hotel chain, and they say, well, but the owner, he doesn't want to do this, or the GM. So yes, how do you help that person that is your champion? Well, very good say, you have data where you can do like a return on investment calculations. You can try to get a meeting with that person, give them tools to sell inside the company. But it's very often, it's surprisingly very often. And that's sometimes because you haven't reached the right person, the decision maker.
Yeah, in general, I understand this cost and value. I mean, it's like going to dad and saying, okay, I need some Levi's. Why do you need them? Well, because instead of buying me 3 pants, you're going to be 1 year without, buying a new pair of trousers or something like that. So they can understand that because of that investment, they're going to get a benefit. And sometimes, of course, there's 2 people in this case, the person that is going to encourage that tool and who's going to buy it and probably after see what is going to be the benefit. So it's like a 2-way conversation that has to be dealt with to make one understand what is going to be the benefit and the other one also the cost and what is going to do a general benefit for the company. So I think it's cost and value at the end.
It's a case study matter. So Claudio, you most probably have seen that a lot in lots of countries. Let's say you see channel manager was, even here in Greece, I'm located in Greece, so there are islands still not using a channel manager, so they put 5 or 3 channels, even the booking engine. So what you're trying to do with those GMs or the owners of the hotels is to find a case study with a similar hotel that uses actually a channel manager or a revenue tool or a booking engine to convince them that this is for your revenue increase, it's for your own business. So what happens a lot, especially in my case, is that I'm trying to find a similar case, a similar hotel, same concept, and prove that by using those revenue tools, you actually also increase your own revenue and you gain from that.
Yeah, I think it's an like you need to have an ROI.
Yeah.
Nicoló, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you all the time, but you just have a little bit of a delay.
It's also a matter of education. No. I think it's a matter as well of education. You know, we're at the end of the day, us as technology, companies, we also need to educate the hoteliers, that by doing certain action, they will eventually have some sort of, benefit, right? And so that, that's it's very important also for us, to educate the market. Theo was mentioning. And I kind of laughed inside because he was mentioning before the channel manager, that nothing it became a sort of commodity, but still, there are some places where hoteliers don't use a channel manager. And I remember back then, maybe 15, 20 years ago, when I started to work in a company that, a well-known company that created that channel manager, and at the beginning, no one's wanted. Because they think, I have a person, that does, that will do that for you. But then, eventually they realize, that the rise of OTA came, so many channels, so this was boom. So say, and I suddenly say, oh my God, stop sale, it takes me an hour. Or to do a promotion, it takes me half an hour. So, then they realize, okay, I need a tool, that will allow me to optimize that type of distribution. And that is an example with the channel manager, but the example can replicate to RMS, to booking engine, to any kind of technology. And especially nowadays that, we have the ability as well, we're talking about also integration, to integrate the different type of technology among each other that will give a competitive advantage. As Alberto said, you can see everything maybe in one screen or various information in one screen that allow the user to take, decision, so that's powerful. And if the hotel don't see that, it's also our job, to educate them to that, to let them know that, they can do better with technology. It's not a cost. It's it's an investment for to do better.
It is very funny that you say that, because I went through the same process with the channel manager. No one, I could sell it to 5-star hotels or big chains, and now everybody. But the same thing happened with internet. I remember the old times. We had I was working for an OTA, and customer would send the visa details by fax because they didn't trust internet. And you have to really educate the hoteliers to say, okay, this booking is as good as anyone that has come through the phone, or even better, because it's already paid. It's like, yeah, but I think it's a great point that you made.
Alfredo, I think you're revealing your age here.
I know, I'm probably the oldest one in the world.
Experience.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I think, in many cases, it depends how much you're dependent on this, and it depends how much the different technologies are relevant for certain hotel or certain type of hotels. Yes, we still see hotels without a channel manager that are dependent on more of, like, I think nowadays it's mostly hotels that are predominantly relying on tour operator or bed banks business, which you don't need a channel manager for. I'm not judging if it's the right or the wrong strategy. It's just say we still see that. And yes, like as Monish commented, a channel manager was created in 2001. So it should be here by now. We have it for 21 years or 20 years, if that's correct. So but yes, it's not evenly distributed. That's certainly for sure. I think that was a very good round of like trying to get to also the gist of helping like the audience here, which I assume are not like, obviously there's some GMs and owners in here, but I guess I hope for a large degree it's managers, it's revenue managers that try to convince their GMs on how to make the next step up and how to implement these tools. So I think helping them to make the case is crucially important. Jules, you want to add anything to this? Yeah.
Yes, I have a different highlight on that point. In 2022, we've seen the great resignation of staff, and hotels are definitely lacking staff. So our point is also to say to our fellow GMs, to say, well, would you invest in your team and in how your team is working? How would you raise your team to the next level with the right tools so that they learn new things, they learn new processes, and in the end, that is above all the best ROI you can get. Yes, I believe investing in technology is investing in raising your own teams, learn new set of competencies, and then being able to keep being engaged and entertained in their role.
Yes. Yeah, and eliminating
lots of hoteliers though.
Go ahead.
Lots of hoteliers are afraid because of educating the personnel. I've seen that a lot in hotels, not only in Greece, but let's say globally, that they're afraid that if they educate enough their personnel, they might leave. Especially seasonal hotels have this, let's say, attitude. So, although they want to have technology in their hotels, they are afraid that if they take, let's say, a junior salesperson and they educate them in the technological side with revenue tools, with channel manager, with booking engine, they are afraid somehow that they will lose them. So that is a point. I don't know if you had the same experience. Lots of you are in Spain, but here in Greece, I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, you can always be afraid of raising somebody, but in the end, if you want to leave, he leaves. So it really depends on what do you think, what are your beliefs? Are you a kind of manager that wants to elevate your team, or do you want to retain them? I mean, everyone has his own call on that.
I think this is This is a very difficult. I mean, it's not a difficult question actually. At the end of the day, I think it's a fear to overcome by the manager. But like, if you're not educating your people, and give them the tools to work most efficiently, I mean, then the people leave, then you have even less than before. I mean, if you have a good, well organized, implemented tech stack, then it is much easier to, if people leave for whatever reason, to implement or to bring new people on board on a well-established process, and the know-how might be written down, might be embedded into the systems and the processes, and not only in the heads of the people. So that I think is a trade-off that should be taken into consideration. I'm trying also to move into one other topic area that was brought up as well before. It's like where and we have two RMSs here, and we have one rate shopper. That's like where do you see those two different types of tools complementary, and where do you see them similar? Maybe Cindy from the rate shopper. And you can start, and then Alberto and Nicoló from the RMS part can actually respond to that.
Well, I think all our panel has been really seeing how each other encourage a part of the tourism industry. I was listening before what you were talking about. About maybe owners not understanding what each of our companies are offering. Sometimes we also have to take in consideration that we all belong to the tourism industry, and sometimes to make people, which not all owners have been 20 years of experience in tourism and can see the value, because of course I can see the value of each company, but it's not easy maybe for people that have not been long time in the tourism industry to understand everything and know how to apply this. I mean, in general, we were talking about products of all-in-one, and I think it's a good point, and many hotels will consider this. But sometimes I can put an example. It's like, I don't know, just going to look for the weather and not looking through the window, and not taking other inputs that can help you to, of course, take decisions. And RMS has a lot of information, included business intelligence, including other type of KPIs. But also, of course, we have to take in consideration each establishment and what they need to analyze. I think a revenue manager is not only going to take the one input, is going to have, in general, a lot of information that they're going to need, and to have all in one in just one process. I think nowadays it must be accurate, but it's not so easy. So I still encourage each establishment to dealing with each product that gives the best value. And if your hotel has, for example, a lot of distribution channels, you need to have a more extended process and pricing, or you have to extend all that information in your hotel. I mean, I don't think it's something that goes against one to another. It's really complementary. You can use all, and all the data is quite relevant. So revenue managers can be more accurate when they do their pricing.
Nicoló, do you want to go with this? Sorry, picking Nicoló to not run into the delay problem again.
Yes, I mean, it's something like we kind of discussed it, before. The use of technology, the connection, between technologies is major nowadays. And nowadays, I think we have, the possibility to do that. Before it was more difficult to to be able to integrate different solutions, and it took a lot of it take time. And I think it's much easier to do that, and that allows to create the right stages to be able to be more successful on that matter. I'm not sure if you also had another question, because maybe I lost it for the delay.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. It was more on this combination between rate shopper and data, more in general, external data. Alberto, you want?
I mean, sorry. Yeah, I mean the rate shopper. I mean, obviously, it's something that it's in my opinion, it's a very good. If we're taking a look at the revenue management perspective, the rate shopper solution. It's something that adds. It's like it's part of the data that every RMS solution needs to have, inside the RMS, because it's part of it. It's part of the equation, let's say, or it should be. I think the part of the equation that the algorithm should take into consideration nowadays valuable for an hotelier to take a decision. So obviously, understand how your competition is selling in a certain in your market, compared to you as an hotel to your competition. It's key to be able to take a decision. Obviously, I think it's not, in my opinion, it's not a data that needs to be taken on its own. It needs to be then compared to other factors. So in the case of a revenue management system, we also get the data from the PMS, segmentation, understand the demand as well, how much demand, not only the demand that I'm getting from, let's say the PMS in terms of occupancy, but the forward-looking demand, so how many people are searching my area, my hotel, or flight searches are becoming as well very important nowadays, especially like in vacation destination, understanding the intention of traveling, the intention of booking, that eventually together with all this other data and the rate shopping data as well, will be very helpful, to take a decision. So I think it's, coming back to the question, the rate shopping, it's fundamental, but I don't think it as its own, but together with other data.
More or less in the same line as Nicoló says, rate shoppers and RMS are not enemies. They are providers. They have a relationship that is the rate shopper is bringing information to the algorithm that the RMS have, and then with this information, not only the rate shopper, because our algorithms from the RMS are taking information from different sources. Then with the algorithm, we automate those actions that we need to activate to increase the final revenue. So, of course, we need this information from the rate shoppers as well, as we have the demand from the area, from the origin, traffic lights, seats availability, everything, but all together in the same RMS to offer these automatations and rates and rates to the revenue managers. So this kind of I don't have even the word in Spanish, to set the correct rate at the correct time. So all this information brings all together. So we are not enemies, we are more providers. We have relationships between all these systems that the RMS needs to eat that kind of information to offer the final and the properly rate to the revenue managers. You are mute, Claudio.
Thank you. Yeah, right. So I think that speaks a lot also to the notions before. Like you need different tools that are integrated. Like there are promises of an all-in-one solution, but I think in large degrees you need to have different tools that are connected together. If you allow me, going from one end of the more revenue management connection of rate shopping to RMS tools, I'd love to go back to one of the topics that we had at the very beginning about the booking process. We've talked about before, like to personalize it and to make it unique in order to both increase the conversion and increase also the money taking out of the direct booking engine. How would you all compare a booking process versus a booking process maybe that you use for a flight, which is a similar product or similar product category also in the travel industry, or a concert, or buying something at Amazon? Should it be different? Should it be the same, or where do you see the biggest differences? Alfredo, maybe we can start with this. This is certainly your home turf at the most.
Yeah, I was eager to answer that, but I wanted to see the opinion of the rest. What I think is that, first of all, as we said before, consumers are used to it, are used to a shopping experience that is different. Now, let's say that you're going to the wonderful Greek islands for a week with your family and you're spending $3,000. You still cannot have the same experience that buying just a 50 euros shoes in Amazon. In Amazon, you can see them, you can turn them around, you can all do that. In the hotel, you cannot still do that. Or you've paid 200 euros for a flight and you can choose your seat. So I think we adopted the technology. We were one of the first industries to adopt it, but we have stayed there. We are restricted to the room types. We are restricted to, yes, better pictures, better 3Ds, but still the booking process is not good enough for the consumer today. And I compare this, I used to live in the States, and when I was coming from Spain, like washing machines were very new, and you would go to in the States and they were older. because they bought it before than we had it. That's in the old time. So technology is usually like we were early adopters. Now we are behind many of the different industries. And I would love to see what the rest of the panelists think about that, because I think it's very important.
So either you start, I just point out. Jules, what do you think? How does the booking process should look like?
How to reinvent the booking process? I have not the answer. However, there is a very big difference between whatever you buy on Amazon or a flight or anything and the hotel, is that the payment doesn't happen at the time when you book. It usually happens at the time when you reach or even after you stay. So there is a very big difference in that sense, because when you buy your flight, you don't get your ticket if you don't pay upfront, right? So this is a tricky one for the hotels, because they have they don't get the money actually when they get their booking. So there is a risk inherent to that, and so we pretty much encourage the hotel to get the payment upfront as much as possible.
I just say, I think in general, we have to always think that what we're selling is an experience, as Alfredo referred at the beginning, and for good or bad, that makes the process also more complicated. So I think sometimes all our efforts are made in making that client feel an experience, and sometimes compared for like Amazon, maybe, well, it's not the same because we're talking about an object, and it can be that it can complicate a little bit that moment. But of course, we are all working on that process just to make people feel on social media, when they get to the website, when they feel the what they're buying. I mean, all that process to gather together, and today it's not easy. It's confusing. There's a lot of information, and what may be in Amazon is right now very focused, and maybe in the travel industry right now it's more confusing for the client. So it can be a point, that we have to work on.
I think we certainly do. Theo, I'd love to. I mean, you're a booking engine provider, so
I see from let's say from requests I receive from chain of hotels or hotels. So they're trying to lead the booking engine into an e-shop. What do I mean? They want to have a card. So if they have extra services that they offer of the hotel, they would like to have those independently booked without having to book a room. So what will happen, and what I see very soon, is that booking engine will lead to actually a small e-shop. So you will have the opportunity through the booking engine to book the room independently, at the same time to add in your cart an experience, any service that might be at the hotel, let's say a spa, that is independent from the whole booking. And another request is also what also chains right now want is the booking process to be fully implemented within the official website of the hotel. So by giving an API, as we call it, and having the web designer, the web developer creating the whole flow within the official website of the hotel, this means at the same time they can create this type of e-shop within the official website. So having a very nice structured hotel website, which has a very nice menu, including services, including extras, experiences at the same time, will offer the booking process a similar, let's say, concept as Amazon or any other small e-shop that you can think about.
I just hope we go more in the direction of an Amazon rather than in the direction of a not name blaming, but of a Ryanair booking process that adds you 500,000 times if you want to add that insurance or this gimmick. So I think this, but at the end of the day, that probably works for them. Yeah.
You need to find the steps. It's very new, but as a concept, you find the steps. We are experimenting things as well as a booking engine provider. So we'll see, and we'll build our products depending the needs of the clients and especially the visitors of the official website.
Alberto, you wanted to add something on that?
Yeah, well, no, just add that is part of the experience. Nico, sorry. I think is a part of the experience. So it is when you go to a hotel is experience, because the hoteliers since a few years ago are start or begun to sell experiences instead of sell rooms. So it's part of the experience when you book a hotel room. Of course, how is similar as a planes? Yes, everything has a start with the planes, with how to book a flight, or revenue as well has a start with the flights and how they do some revenue depending of the time that they booked, the destination, everything. So here it starts is a really difficult times for the booking engine providers because they have to play a lot with experiences. Bank images, sounds, everything that translate the guest to the hotel directly on the time they are booking and feel directly there. Not only a picture, better a video that you can feel involved on your home when you are on the sofa, just looking at Netflix and booking a room, then you can feel it inside already in the hotel. Which experiences will you live there? Everything, not only a process that put all your details in, pay, and that's it. No, be part of the experience to enjoy your holidays really in advance at the time of the booking. This is my opinion on that term, that it has to be part of the experience.
Nicoló, you wanted to add something there? Hope I don't interrupt you this time.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, it's very what Alberto and Theo said, and I think that, from what Theo said, that it's becoming as well, a matter, I guess new generation, will like to click and put in the cart, whatever service they want. And actually, if we're seeing from a revenue management perspective as well, sometimes revenue, RMS, they tend, to see just the revenue stream from the room revenue, but it's not like that because hotel also has different sources of revenue, right? So services, spa. So the hotels, have the ability through perhaps, selling also not only room but also services, to a revenue stream and eventually increase the revenue management of a new hotel. And then also if we can then add also that if we can also get into the equation, the cost, to be able to be more profitable, that is be also an added value. So in other words, I think it's very important to understand that consumer behavior and allow the consumer to book whatever they want, and with that booking also take advantage of that revenue stream. And now we can do that.
Just one thing, I think Alberto, you just say the word. Yeah, the booking engine, the booking process should be part of the experience, and today it's not. Today you will ask anyone, say, "Have you booked the room?" "Oh yes, thank you." Now you should enjoy deciding where you're going to stay, how it looks, and how much fun it's going to be, because part of the fun is planning, and that should be, yeah. And then if you can combine that with more revenue for the hotel, you have a magic formula.
That actually makes a good statement to end this topic. But I like there's one other thing that like goes into the same kind of area of discussion, because it's getting more and more frequent that hotels externalize or outsource the digital marketing strategy. And what we've just all discussed, I mean, it is kind of a key element of selling for hotels. So what is it that hotel will gain by outsourcing it, and what would it take to actually bring it back in-house again?
If I may start on that one, it is true that more and more the hotel has to take a package of booking engine, website development, and marketing. So that makes a lot of sense for the hotel, because when they are building their own strategy, actually they see the whole distribution, the whole direct distribution as a one with one provider. Now, it may come at certain cost, because the agencies that is investing their own money to get traffic to the hotel website as a cost for the hotel. Obviously, it's not the hotel money. So actually, we see that a lot with our customers, and we also want to offer a different way of seeing it, in meaning that we are able to give the hotel the platform and the tools to run their own digital marketing activities. Because as of today, we see that the different windows that have appeared and the different partners they can advertise on are multiples. So it's kind of they need a channel manager for their marketing activities. And this is a service that some companies offer, and I tend to recommend it highly, and especially put it in the hand of a revenue manager. Because when we speak about digital marketing, we speak about acquiring traffic, okay? Mm-hmm. So gaining the bookings that should go to OTAs, but finally get to your own booking engine. So at the end of the day, this is direct margin for your hotel. Mm-hmm. If that is not the revenue management, I don't really know what it is.
Just if I may,
sure.
on one of our last events that we said was in Canary Islands, someone said that how many are you, or how many the hoteliers pay to the OTAs in terms of commissions and everything, and which will be the cost to outsourcing these marketing things to redirect all those bookings to the direct website. I think the cost is not that much. So they have to start to think on technology as investment instead of a cost because of that, because they will see how redirecting all these kind of bookings, as Jules said, that instead to go to the OTA goes to your website. And of course, we will see how the cost moving with an external company or the marketing external company, these bookings to your own website, you will increase your final revenue. So it's clear why to pay. They are already paying this kind of service to the OTAs. Why not doing it and pay less to redirect this direct to the direct channel, these bookings to the direct channel? It's on the way, so it's clear.
To be honest, I have a different opinion on this, because I think you cannot compete with OTAs. How much budget does Booking.com has or Expedia has in marketing?
But because they are professionals on that, and the hoteliers are not professionals on that. Hoteliers are professionals,
but not only professional
and manage hotels.
Not only professional is how much money do you have, and how much money can you invest in marketing. I remember I was worked for 6 years at Orbitz, and a lot of hoteliers would come and say, "Well, I can do that." It's no, you cannot do that. I can invest so much than you. So I think the point is, do your marketing, your digital marketing well. Take advantage also of that billboard effect that OTAs has, and take advantage of that, having a good website, a good booking engine, all that, so you can grab that part of the consumer, the OTA's customer that goes to your website. That are many of them. That they're good drivers of traffic. Now, the only problem is that today they go back to the OTA and book in the OTA. But they are bringing a lot of traffic, and that's where we have to grab them for the direct business.
I agree with Alfredo as well. I was also working in Expedia sometime, and you could see how some hotels really have a good conversion with OTAs and others don't. So I think it's, as I said at the beginning, it's part of a process. I mean, you can have the best marketing team, and if the hotel doesn't do their homework, let's say, and does the correct strategy, I mean, you can have the best marketing team that it's not going to convert. So it's something that has to go in general aligned with your hotel, with your revenues, with the market, whoever it is, if it's external or it's done by the hotel, or if you're taking OTAs and you're also converting in those. I mean, in general, it has to be a plan and a good data-driven strategy altogether. If not, it won't work.
Yeah, there is a thing that I shared also with Google. Alfredo, you said about Google. Yeah, I was speaking to them also. They tend to be very present these days in travel. And actually, we are able at the edge to know how many times the hotel name was searched in Google. This is huge. I was shocked when I saw these numbers. And my point is, when you key in the hotel name in Google, it says something about the reservation. And if it's the first website that comes in is Booking, TripAdvisor, Expedia, Kayak, whatever, but not the hotel website, I say this is a pity because the traffic is going there. Yes, you will have billboard effect afterwards, but you are not maximizing your chances to get these bookings. So 100% agree with you. However, I still count on our own efforts and the hotel's efforts to get this traffic back. And it works actually. We see.
At the end of the day, I think we all agree. That's true.
Yeah. No, I think it's one thing to say, can I compete with Booking.com on a search term such as hotels Barcelona, or can I compete on an actual hotel name? And I think at the end of the day, yes, in the sum, Booking or all the OTAs are very big spenders on online advertising, but they also need to make a lot of reservations, and they live on a fraction of the reservations. So I think it's like on the individual hotel search term, there should be room to have and not a level playing field. That is not, but a room to compete with. If that is with your in-house or with an external marketing agency, I think that's a different.
And the question was in-house or not in-house, because I think Yeah, I think how many times do you go somewhere? It depends on the resources and everything, on where you are, where you want to market and all that. But I think professionals should do what they do well. And I think hoteliers sometimes spend too much time trying to do something that they're not experts. Either they should hire an expert company, or if they cannot, they should definitely hire the services. Yes, probably cheaper.
Yeah. Since we are in the world of like online advertising, like between social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, where do you see the hotel distribution on those? I dare to say channels.
May I? So actually,
please go ahead.
Alfredo, you were talking about facts priorly. So I'm feeling like a baby boomer because in social media, I'm still using Facebook, for example. So what I'm trying to say is that, let's say, youth is no longer using even Instagram. They're using TikTok. So actually, each hotel needs to define the age group they want to target. So now I see, let's say, a differentiation between the age groups using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even Twitter. So once again, data makes sense in this case. Checking which age group is visiting your hotel makes sense also in order to drive the marketeer into a specific campaign into Facebook or TikTok. Now, I'm referring also to TikTok. It's strange. Some hotels use it is strange to me as well. They use TikTok for their advertisement. Does anybody from you have any experience from hotel using TikTok for advertising? I'm not aware of. But let's say, especially here in Greece, they're using a lot Instagram influencers.
Not that I'm.
Yes, Nicoló.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, if I want to add something of that, sorry the delay, but I think it, as you said, Theo, it's a matter of data, and the new generation. I was actually asking this question to my niece the other day, that she's like 15 years old, and I asked her, so do you use Facebook? And then she said, no. What's Facebook? I mean, I don't even I don't even go inside. So I said, what do you use? Oh, I use Instagram and TikTok. And then I understand. So if the hotel, Facebook is just for dinosaur nowadays. So it depends on what do you want as an hotelier to attract. If you want to attract a certain target of people, and especially not for about experiences, people going fast, new generation going fast, new generation wants videos, don't want pictures, wants fast experience through video images, so that probably if you want to attract that type of a target client, that probably TikTok would be probably the answer, and maybe something else will come up. If you want to attract another generation, maybe you should use another channel. So it's very important to have the understanding of this type of data, if possible, to also do specific, and we're talking about back to marketing campaign targeted to those potential target clients that we want to attract. So maybe I can use Facebook to my age people that still use Facebook and TikTok to the younger generation. Hotel is interested in that target, because maybe I'm not interested. So I don't, as an hotel, if I'm not interested in that target market, why do I need to use that channel at the moment? Eventually probably will come. So it's so definitely it's a very interesting topic of discussion. How things are changing so fast, and we need, as technology, but also as hotelier, to keep up the pace if we want to be competitive. Back again, to the competition. So. Definitely. That's what my 2 pieces of sense of the conversation.
Yes, I think
let's do Alfredo, Cindy, and Alberto. Okay.
Okay, I think this is a topic that we should have like a whole session, and we will all learn about it. What I know is, it depends if you're doing brand awareness or if you want to convert. If you go to TikTok is not converting bookings. So you want to be there? Probably yes. Are you going to have a return on investment on that? You will have to go farther to look where the impact is. Now, Facebook, yeah, it probably for middle age or a little bit older. Is it converting or not? I have seen many hotels doing bookings in Facebook, for instance, and or connecting it to the booking engine. So it really, I think, as a hotelier, as you say, it depends on your product, where you are, what your target is. But you have to go, even if you are like focusing on older people, you're always going to have these TikToks or a new technology is going to come. And you have to be there because, you have influencers, you have children buying their tickets to their parents. So you have lots of things. So you have to be there. But you have to make sure how to measure what you invest. And I don't have TikTok, but we could do one.
Yes, Cindy.
Well, I have Be Real, so I'm very actualized in this panel. Sorry to say. No, it's a joke. But,
are you TikToker, Cindy? Are you TikToker as well?
I can do TikTok. You can. You can follow my brand in TikTok. No, just to say that I think I agree with Alfredo. It's a matter of brand awareness. It's not something new. We have had this for all our life. I mean, why do on TV the advertisement go for children? And it's not that it's going to convert. I mean, that child is going to tell you that they want to buy this and that, and they're going to go to their parents, and that's going to convert in some moment. So, I mean, it's just a matter of doing all that brand awareness. I have seen a lot of hotels being promoted in TikTok, but they're just doing they're promoting their entertainment because they want to show kids how they do the entertainment. It's not a matter of conversion. It's just making a little bit brand awareness. And I think in general, a hotel has to work in all of those channels. And Instagram, for example, is starting to be a very important shop and conversion social media. So I think it's a matter of time as well.
So Alberto, I'll give you a chance to wrap this up because we're running towards.
Sure. I think we are most on the same line. It's all about data. Which is the target of the hotelier that wants to focus on? If it's a young target, he will go to TikTok. If it's medium age, he will go to Facebook or Instagram. All depends on the way that they use the tools that they have. So for that reason, and also why Instagram has developed Reels is the same way as TikTok, videos all the time. So they have the tools. The thing is, they have to use them correctly and take profit of them. So they have the technology, they have the tools, they have to use them.
Thank you so much. So we're running almost out of time, and what I'd like to do is give you all just maybe 20-30 seconds to give a last comment. If there's anything you would like to add and wrap up, I'll just maybe we can just do it real quick. Nicoló, do you want to add a couple comments to summarize the session or wrap it up?
I think Claudio, thanks for asking. I think we we touch base different areas of technology today, so different needs that an hotel might have, and I think back to the educational part of it. I think us as technology companies, we want to put in the hands of hoteliers technology that will help eventually doing their job, to agile their job, because that's the ultimate thing. All the things can be done manually, but if you use technology, you can optimize your time, your effort, and eventually you can get more money in on the different aspects, that encourage hotel not to be afraid to use, not see it as a cost, as an investment. In a mid long term, it will be.
Thank you, Theo.
Yes, I'm very happy having professionals of technology in such a forum and travel tech. Actually, it proves that everything is connected. So we're trying to be connected. Each technology helps the other technology to gain more, let's say, into tourism sector. About you, Claudio, I feel that further to a very good professional in the tourism field, you are a good moderator. So I was happy having you today, and also the rest of the panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Alberto, you want to
just
wrap it up?
In a pleasure to share the panel with such amazing professionals. Jules, technology is here, has arrived. So it's time to use it to get as much profit as them, automating processes that they offer to the hoteliers, increase revenues at least 35%. And of course, is the way that they use it. And as Theo say, every day we can see how technological industry has new connections, which are most of them tailor-made to hotel companies' needs, and we can attend, let's lead to RMS connecting directly to the engine bookings to do faster all that revenue processes and to increase this final revenue, as I said, at least 35%. So the hoteliers has to think about to use this kind of services that we can provide and get the advantage. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We're going to go Jules, Alfredo, Cindy, if that's okay. So,
great. Thank you very much to all that attended this session. Thank you for my fellow panelists and Claudio. It was awesome to have you. If you want to know more about repeated customer, how to generate more revenue out of each hotels, please reach out to us. I'm Jules from The Edge, and I will be happy to redirect you to any member of the team in Europe.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. It was a real pleasure to talk to you guys. We will probably see each other more often, and we will, to Theo's point, we will probably have to connect our technologies. I think this is a new era, what we're starting. We have a pitch, I think it's on Wednesday, so please attend it. And Claudio, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
So it's my time? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Claudio. It was a pleasure, and it was a pleasure to meet you all. I have took some words from the panel, and I always tend to learn of my colleagues. And I think I wrap up with personalization, efficiency, data, experience, segmentation, loyalty, and brand awareness, which I am definitely sure we're going to work on in our company as well. So I appreciate you making me learn today as well, new things.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to talk with all of you. I think, yeah, with few exceptions, we're integrated with all of you. Alfredo, I think we're missing. But yeah, and also thanks a lot for Travel Tech. I think it has been great opportunity to bring us all together here, as usual. Thanks also a lot for all the people that commented and brought in questions. Awesome to make this a live, and also giving us panelists the feeling that there's somebody else out there and we're not talking to ourselves. So that's greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Claudio. I will say the final words. Thank you very much, Claudio and Nicoló, Theodoro, Alberto, Jules, Cindy, Alfredo. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this amazing insight you give to our attendees. Thank you to everybody in the other side for attending Travel Tech. This is the last Travel Tech of 2022. I hope see you everybody next year. I hope this will be personal and will be physical, and we can meet everybody in person. So thank you very, very much. To our attendees, don't miss the next forum about digital transformations, about smart destination, intelligent data, and Web3. This will be an amazing panel. And thank you, everybody, again, for giving your time to our attendees. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, Travel Tech.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.